Hi, Ahava. Today we want to talk a little bit about bisecting. We want to bisect a line segment. We also want to construct a perpendicular. And these two are very similar. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply draw a line segment. And remember, a line segment has two endpoints. So I'll call these endpoints A and B. And we want to bisect this line segment. To do that, I'm going to take my compass and I'm going to measure the length of line segment AB. So I'm going to put my point on point A, and I'm going to open until my pencil touches point B. And I'm going to cut an arc there so you can see that I have measured the length of line segment AB. Now what I want to do is I want to swing an arc above and below from point A, and I want to move my point to point B, and I'm going to swing another arc that intersects the first arc from point A to point B. Now if I would have continued, I could have made a circle here, and I could have made a circle here, and this would be the two places the circle would intersect. And of course we know two lines intersect in a point, so I will call this point C, and I'll call this point D. And we know that 2 points determine a line, so I can draw a line through point CD. If I will line up a straight edge, and any straight edge will do, I'm going to line up a straight edge through points C and D, and I'm just going to draw a line that's going through points C and D. Now what happened when I did this is I constructed two segments that were congruent, and I think I'm off just a little bit there. I'm going to rearrange just a bit, move it over just because I wasn't quite lined up with my point. I'm having to reach over to get to that. So you can see the line actually is a little farther over than where I originally had it. But if I have constructed it correctly, this segment will be congruent to this segment. So if I call this point O, where these two intersect, AO is congruent to OB. Now, there's something interesting about this that you need to know. Not only is line CD intersecting line segment AB at point O so that it bisects line segment AB, making a segment AO congruent to segment OB, it is also perpendicular. Now perpendicular, this little symbol means perpendicular, means they meet in right angles. So if we want to look at the construction on page 32, where we're given a line with a point on it, and we're asked to construct a line perpendicular to that. All right, I'm going to show you how we can do this. All right, I'm going to draw a line. Any line will do. I'll draw this line. We'll call this line L. And on line L, I'm going to put point 0 right there. That's point O. Not 0, but point O. Because we name points with capital letters. At this place now, I need to construct a perpendicular. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my compass. You can open it any size that you might want to, but I'm going to go ahead and leave it where I had it open the last time. It really doesn't matter. And I'm going to cut arcs on line L. Now I want you to notice something. When I cut these arcs on line L, two lines intersecting a point, if I would have continued this around as a circle, we know that all radii have a circular congruence, so we know already that this segment is congruent to this segment. Now we call this O. We're going to call this point R and this point B. So we have a line segment RB with a midpoint at O. Now, for me to construct this, I'm going to use R as a center point, and I'm going to open my compass somewhere larger than RO. I could go all the way out to RB, but I don't have to go that far. I'm just going to open it so it goes beyond RO. Because if I were to draw a circle, if I put this at the compass point, if I were to draw a circle, and I cut an arc above here on this side, knowing that all radii of a circle congruent, I can come over to point B, also cut an arc above, and you notice that we have two lines intersecting in a point. I'm going to call this point T, and we know that 2 points determine a line, so I'm going to draw a line from O to T. I can call this line anything I want to. I can call it line M. I can call it line TO, but I'll just put a little M here. So what I have constructed is I have constructed that line M is perpendicular to line L. And this is the symbol for perpendicular. Looks like an upside down T. On my figure, I use a little square block here to mark that these are perpendicular. And when two lines are perpendicular, that means that they form a 90-degree angle. And we can check that with our protractor. If you want to check, you can take your protractor and you can put it along your line and line it up along the bottom line, and you'll see that's exactly a 90-degree angle. And it was over here too. We didn't check it before, but you can see the same thing over here when we constructed these two segments congruent, and I told you it would be perpendicular. So there we have constructing a line segment, bisecting a line segment, which means putting a midpoint, O is the midpoint, and getting two congruent segments. Here we have a point on a line through which I have constructed a perpendicular.